Now, the former Premier League footballer Joey Barton's been spared jail after being found guilty of posting grossly offensive messages on social media. The former Manchester City and Newcastle midfielder was given a 6-month sentence, suspended for 18 months, for comments he wrote about the broadcaster Jeremy Vine and the football pundits Lucy Ward and Aluko. Well, the broadcaster Jeremy Vine came off air a short time ago and shared his reaction to that sentence.
This all started when I saw Barton abusing two female football commentators on X, and I just thought I had to take a stand. And then he started abusing me, and I think to myself, do I just let this carry on, or do I now have to fight back? And I took a libel case against him, which cost him, by his account, £600,000. So at that point, I felt I got satisfaction. The criminal case was an add-on, and now he's got a suspended sentence. So he should have learned his lesson, but I don't think he will have.
Jeremy Vine reacting there. Well, let's go live to my colleague Rowan Bridge, who's outside Liverpool Crown Court. So we've got the sentence in. Just tell us more about the reaction from where you are.
Yes, well, Joey Barton was very tight-lipped as he left court this afternoon. He didn't say anything to reporters. He was convicted last month of 6 counts of sending grossly offensive messages which related to posts he made onto the social media site X. And he was clearly aware that he could have faced potentially a jail sentence for his crimes. He arrived in court with a large bag. Several of those posts that he made referred to Jeremy Vine using a slang term for a paedophile. In one, he asked whether Jeremy Vine's name would appear in the flight logs for the sex offender Jeffrey Epstein's island. In another, he told people to call 999 if they saw Jeremy Vine near a primary school. In court, we had a victim personal statement read out on behalf of Jeremy Vine, in which he said the posts that Barton had made were profoundly traumatising to him. Barton, he said, was a small man who feeds off the pain of others. Now, he was also convicted of making a grossly offensive post about the football pundits Aluko and Lucy Ward. In one post, he published a photo of the serial killers Fred and Rosemary West and superimposed the faces of the two football pundits onto that picture. And both women talked of the traumatic effect that those posts had had because of the amplifying effect that Joey Barton's posts had, because he has more than 2.5 million followers on X. Lucy Ward said she'd been subject to a barrage of hate, which had left her questioning my own worth. Aluko described Barton's posts as abhorrent and the most offensive criticism she'd ever experienced. In his sentencing remarks, the judge, Andrew Maneri, told Barton he'd gone well beyond the limits of free speech and described his actions as a sustained campaign of abuse. As I say, Barton himself said nothing as he left court. We threw questions at him, but he remained tight-lipped. But he did speak to one of my BBC colleagues inside the court building, and he said that if he could turn back time, he would. It was a joke that got out of hand. He said, no one wants to go to jail.
Yeah, Rowan Bridge, thank you very much for bringing us up to date on all of the different angles on that. And there is as well an article on the BBC News website if you want to read more about that suspended sentence that Joey Barton has been given.